Hey everybody, this is Julie, the main stamper. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'm back with another video in my series called Mondays Are Hard, Stamping Shouldn't Be. And in my Monday series, I like to explore cards that require minimal efforts and minimal products for fabulous results. Normal Monday cards include one stamp set, 2 colors of cardstock, and 2 ink pads. So that would be our minimal supplies. But this Monday I am changing it up a little bit, and we're spicing it up a little bit. We are going to create a gift card holder card, and it's going to hold a gift card in the middle of the card. There's a little pocket here for the gift card. Now to create this pocket, I did use dies. I've been playing with the envelopes dies, new in the holiday catalog from Stampin' Up, and I've been playing with them all week, creating some fantastic liners and card projects. And along with that set of dies, there is a stamp set called Ornamental envelopes. This doesn't have a lot of stamps in it that we're using on our card, just a few. And so I needed to find a stamp set that had sentiment. So I do have 2 stamp sets today. So I did choose the Itty Bitty Birthdays for the sentiments for this card, because we needed a few things that said, hey, it's your day, let's celebrate. So we did change it up a little bit in that aspect. We still have 2 colors of cardstock. We've got Bermuda Bay and Whisper White. Wait a minute. The card, the sample card said it's kind of pink, but I am creating a Bermuda Bay one with you today in the video. So I'm changing it up, and because I'm changing it up, I've got a little bit of designer series paper. And the reason for the change is that in the paper stacks for Stampin' Up, when they do their color family paper stacks, they've got 6x6 paper sizes, and so they're like, to me, they're sampler packs. There's not a lot of paper in them, and once I start using and digging into my paper, I don't have a lot left over. So I miss the 12 by 12 paper, but that's a different story. So this card was adorable in pink, and I created it, but I don't have a lot of this designer series paper that I wanted to use, and I really like the polka dots on this one. So I had to change it to a new color. So I thought, why not go blue? Let's do a blue card instead. So I've changed it up a little bit, but we do really still have minimal stamping. This is a super easy card to make, and it would be fantastic whether you've got a gift card, a gift certificate, cash, checks. You just fold them up, put them in this little pocket, so that when someone opens the card up, nothing falls out of the bottom. It's all secured right here. You've got plenty of room right over here to write, you know, your sentiments and whatever well wishes you want to put into your card. So this is our card today. It is still super fast, simple, easy to do. I'm going to show you step by step how to create it, but we're going to make it in blue. So stick with me here. We'll create one in blue, and let me know what you think, pink or blue. So follow me. Let's get stamping. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to show you how I created the base for this card, because it is a different size than our normal card. And what I did was I took my full sheet of cardstock, so this is an 8.5 by 11, and normally when we create our card bases, we're coming into our paper cutter and we're cutting it at 5.5. So this would create 2 cards right here. So this would be 1 card, this would be 1 card. I'm going to instead change the paper to the portrait position, and I'm going to come down here, let me move my trimmer up here. I'm going to come down here to 4 1/4. So I'm going to line the paper up at 4 1/4, and I'm going to cut my paper the long way. So I've just cut it the long way, and I have 2 that are the exact same size. This is the long way. If you were folding this in half, you would get a tent card. And what we're going to do is we are going to now score our paper at 5.5. I want this folded in half. So I'm going to just put this in the long way at 5.5, and I'm going to use my scoring blade. This is a scoring blade. It's the lighter one. Now you could just fold this in half as well if you wanted to. It's just your basic fold, and then you would use your bone folder and score it. And as you know, I like to score my paper once with the bone folder, and then I usually flip it around and score it again with the bone folder so that I'm creasing that edge really nicely. So here's my edge. So I've scored it and folded it in half. And now what I'm going to do is my next step is I'm going to actually trim a little bit off of the end. So I'm going to put it back into my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut 2 1/4 inches off of one side here. I'm going to bring this down, and that cuts off 2 1/4 inches right here. And this is my card, and you can see right here, this is the one in pink. So it opens up like this. So that's our card, and that's how you want to do it. The most important step here is make sure you score it in half before you cut off the 2 1/4. Otherwise, it's really hard to tell how much to, or where to score it to fold your card in half. So I'm going to move the paper trimmer aside. We'll get rid of that, and we're going to take care of the technical things first. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the big shot. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of the work that I'm doing on this particular card that requires a little more effort than our normal Monday cards do. I'm going to take one of the panels. We've got 2 panels of Whisper White. I'm going to take one of them and we're going to put some die cuts in it. So from my envelopes dies, I'm using this die cut. It's going to do like a little cutaway. So we're going to use this one first. And I'm going to line it up at the top of my cardstock, and I'm going to try to center it the best that I can. I'm just going to line it up there, and I'm going to run it through the Big Shot. Now, if you didn't have die cuts or Big Shot and you wanted to do something similar, you could certainly, oh, that was loud. Julie forgot to angle her die better. We're going to do that on the next trip through. I guess that's also an important lesson. You can angle your dies to get a quieter run through the machine. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around, and I'm going to line it up again on the bottom, and I'm going to put it in, and this time I'm going to angle my die a little bit. So I have room here on my plate so that I can angle the die so it's not going in straight and flat like it did the first time. So the first thing that's going to hit is going to be this tip over here rather than the whole straight force of my die. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one through and crank this through the machine. Now you can see the difference there, how that first one that went through was so loud and it just popped and it was terrible. The second one went through at an angle and it went through much quieter and nicer. So here is the die cut part of my cardstock. I'm going to grab out my die brush here and just kind of clean this up a little bit. Get rid of these little polka dots that came through here. Scrub these up, make sure they come out. I'll just get rid of these little poke holes here. Okay, so that is part of the front of my card. So that was using the cutaway from this envelope size. And I'm just going to clean off my clear plate here real quick. I've left a lot of little white pieces of cardstock on there. And we got one more thing to do with our Big Shot. We are going to create the little envelope holder part of our Big Shot. And for that, we're going to use a piece of Designer Series paper, and we're going to use the smallest envelope liner, which is this one right here. Now keep in mind that your Designer Series paper is two-sided, and when you create anything with your envelope liners where you're going to be flipping it over or using cutaways, you want to make sure you like both patterns on both sides. So that's why I really wanted to use the Color Family Designer Series paper. So for this one, I'm just going to put this liner right up here as close to the top as I can. And again, I'm going to angle my die so that when it goes through the Big Shot, it will not crack and pop and be super loud and obnoxious. So I'm going to go ahead and put this through here. We're going to crank it through at a nice angle. Nice and quiet. That's the way I like it. Okay, let me remove the Big Shot right out of the way. We'll get rid of our plates. And this is what we've got left over. We've got this envelope that still has a little bit of an attachment on it. Let me move my dies out of the way as well. So we're going to bring in the paper snips next, and I'm just going to cut away where it's attached here. I'm just going to do a little snipping at a little bit of an angle on each end. So you can see I kind of angled that a little bit and cut that away. And then to create the rest of my gift card flap here, I'm going to fold this backwards. So that way we have a little bit of both of these colors showing. Use my bone folder there and get a nice little crease. So you can see the one that I've got in Bermuda Bay and the one that I've got in the Melon Mambo. So that was our die cutting. So just some quick die cutting. If you had a border punch, you could punch out a nice little border if you wanted to. You could leave this paper just plain. It doesn't have to be decorative. And if you don't have the envelope dies, you could probably cut some paper and just fold a little flap back to create the same gift card pocket for this card. So it can be easy if you want it to be. So now we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So we've got the die cuts done. We've got our fancy card base done. So let's do some stamping on this. We are going to bring in the other piece So you can see that I had two pieces that were the exact same size of Whisper White. And this is the one we're going to do some stamping on. So we're going to bring in the Bermuda by Ink. And I did the corners up here. With the gift card in, it's a little bit harder to see. I'll take the gift card out. So you can see that I just put a little bit of stamping here in the corners. There's one. And to do the next corner, I'm going to just rotate my stamp and put the next one down here in the corner. So I've got my two little corners here. And these little stamps are from the envelopes, Ornamental Envelopes stamp set. And then I just wanted to add another little stamp in here just to kind of cover the middle. So there's the stamping for that part. And let's see, I have somewhere, oh, I have my sentiment strip right here that says Let's Celebrate You. Now the Let's Celebrate You, so like I said earlier, the sentiment stamps are coming from Itty Bitty Birthdays stamp set. Just want to do a little test there, make sure it looks good. This one I'm stamping right into the middle of this little 3/4 inch by 3 inch, I believe, piece of Whisper White cardstock. So there's our Let's Celebrate You. We can set that one aside. And now we're just going to do some stamping on the bigger piece that's going to go inside of our card. This one is going to be, I used It's Your Day, again from Itty Bitty Birthdays. And I did these ones a little bit at an angle and just kind of off to the side here, because this is what's going to peek through when we have our card closed. We've got some that's going to peek through. And then I took the, these look like celebration polka dots to me, kind of some confetti. So I took this from the, again, from the Ornamental Envelopes stamp set, and I just added these in here onto the side, and I did my little workaround where I, you know, got the dots in here how I wanted them to go. Just a little creative stamping here and there, right? You can go out a little bit more if you want to in between. Just however you like it to be and however much you want it to be. How much confetti do you want in this card? You can make it fun. So there, that's it. I mean, that was it for stamping for this card. That was super fast, right? Now we're just on to assembly. So I'm going to bring in my card base, and I'm going to flip this one over and bring in my adhesive of choice, which is always the liquid glue. And I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the back of that. And I'm going to pop this into my card, and I'm going to flip it over and rub the back here so that I can get that adhered. And then I'm going to add my next stamped piece here. I believe this is a 3x4 size. On my blog, I will have all of the measurements laid out for you. So this one I'm just lining up over here. I'm going to close this one, and again, I'm going to make sure that it's adhered down. And now we're going to put in our little pocket. Now this is where you need to be careful, because you only want to put your adhesive on the sides and the bottom of your pocket. You've got to leave the top open so you can tuck things in, and you've got to leave the center open so that, you know, you again got to be able to put something into it. I lined this up at the bottom of my Whisper White paper here and just put it through here. And I'm just going to press here now on where I've got the adhesive. I've got it on the two sides and the bottom. And the first thing I like to do is grab a gift card or even your bone folder and just put this in and make sure you've got a pocket. Make sure that this is going to work, that you haven't adhered it down too much, so I can see that my gift card's going to fit in here. And I've got the these all adhered down. Now I did use glue, so it may take another minute for it to set and stick. You can use tape if you want to, but I would use a strong tape because you don't want that to pop off. And then we're going to decorate the front. We've got our cutaway that we did earlier with the Big Shot, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on here again on the front flap. We're just going to center it and get that to, I'm going to flip it over, rub all of it in. There we go. That looks a little bit better. And then as well, we're going to put on the designer series paper, and I just laid it on here like so. You can choose whichever side up you like if you're using a similar pattern. I love the polka dots. I'm a polka dot fan. So here we got the polka dots going just right across the middle. It almost looks like we've got separate white strips here, but we don't. And the beauty of that is you don't have to line all of that paper up because we've just used one big white paper behind it. I'm just adding adhesive to my sentiment, Let's Celebrate You, and that's going to go on here. Again, it lines up nicely, and I'm just centering it. And I see from my finished card, my first card, that I forgot to show you the little flower here that I did to put down right here. So that was actually also an item that requires the Big Shot. So I'm going to bring that back in and do that real quick because I found that that was adorable. So this again is a stamp from the Ornamental Envelopes stamp set, just a scrap piece of paper. So the stamp will go ahead and stamp 3 images in one stamping, and then we're going to bring the Big Shot back in. So I had forgotten that part from earlier. I'm going to bring back in my plates and make my sandwich here with my dies. So there is a die in that set that has 3 little flowers. I've lost my stamped piece. Bring it back up. Okay, so here we go. So we're just going to line up this die right over top of my little flowers and try to get it as centered, nicely adjusted on here as possible. Okay, and then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and cover it up with my clear plate. And I like to hold it a little bit with my fingers. I don't want my fingers to get into the rollers here, but I do hold it down just until I can't hold it down any longer and roll that through just to make sure it doesn't shift while it's making its way across my Big Shot. So we'll get this out of the way again. And we will bring in our little, I want to show you, this is so cool. So when we did this, we have 1 die, 1 stamp set. You can see that's the remnants. But now we have 3 little teeny tiny flowers. So 3 individual flowers came out of that, which I think is a lot of fun. So what I did this card right here in the Melon Mambo, I did put a little bit of glue down here and kind of closed my flap down so that it was closed. And then I chose the biggest of the 3 flowers and I just tucked it here like a little button flap maybe on this cards on the designer series paper, just to add a little something fun there. Now you still have 2 flowers left over. So if you were doing this, you could add more flowers on. Maybe you want them on the front somewhere. You could do, you know, you could line these up. You could still use these flowers. I chose not to for my card. I just wanted the 1 flower here. But you still have these extra flowers available to you. So this was our little card today. We've got 1 here in Melon Mambo. We've got 1 here in Bermuda Bay. But they will both hold a gift card or whatever gift you want to put in there. Got the little pocket right here on the side, which makes it super convenient. And that was that. Pretty quick and easy, right? Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this gift card holder card that we made. So we got the sample card that I showed you at the beginning was in the Melon Mambo, and we changed it up and we created one in the Bermuda Bay. So you can see it went together pretty quick and easy, which I really like when I'm creating cards. I like the quick and easy. So this will be great. Christmas season is just around the corner. I know it's August, but still and all. Great way to create some quick gift card holder cards. So I hope you enjoyed this card today. If you want the recipe, I will have picture assembly directions and all of the measurements that went into it on my blog at themainstamper.com. So pop over there and check out my blog for that information. And come back and see me next Monday. I'm going to come up with another idea, maybe a simple idea using a stamp set, a couple colors of cardstock and a couple colors of ink. And we'll see what we can create quickly and easily on a Monday because we don't want to work too hard. So everybody have a great week and I will see you again. Take care. Bye.